our second game of our doubleheader, featuring Ghanama's Church of the Holy Zone versus Plain Bill Explosion. Right. Um, I will start by saying that um, Ghanama's Church of the Holy Zone is number one in the veteran tier, number one in Dynasty, right? The veteran tier is the top tier. So right now, they are arguably the number one team in um, Goal Line Blitz 2, right? Um, and as you can tell by the name of the team, right, it is a zone team. Um, Ganama has um, pretty much perfected zone defense, right? His team is sitting at 15-1, right? Let's quickly look at the roster here, right? Halfback, quarterback, named after me, Adrian. Halfback, that was quarterback. The star halfback, named after Exars, another veteran GLB tour. Then he's got Helix, right? I talked about as a star OT. He's got DL Kurt as a star tight end and Cavo as a star wide receiver. So um, on defense, superstar defensive tackles, Daring Feep and Crazy Raid. So some of these names, if you've seen my other streams or are a current GLB tour, you should recognize. Superstar defensive end, Lazy Leos. Superstar linebacker, Sneaky Myrek. Right? So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 on defense and 5 on offense. Right? If we look at their opponents, owned by Depalicious, but I believe Brett 007 is the coach, I believe. That might be wrong. They have 1, 2, 3, so double superstar halfbacks. I hope that they run the ball a lot if you're going to invest in a second superstar halfback. So 3 on offense, and it looks like 3 on defense. So not as deep as in the superstar area as Church is. They are the underdog here versus Church. So with that said and done, let's start watching the game. All right. Okay. Oh, wow. Wow. I got to replay that because I was just trying to. Elix is supposed to be joining us. And I see him in the chat, but I'm not hearing him, so I don't know if I have this set up properly. Let me come over here. It says that I'm in there. Hey, Elix, can you hear me? Let's see here. Streamer mode is enabled, so that's good. Oh, no one else is here yet, it says. Whoops, wait a minute. Oh, yeah, okay. So, yeah, he seems to be having issues with it, so maybe it's on his side. I ended up doing some research and doing the thing that I'm supposed to do for this. I was not able to test it yet. So, whoop. Okay, so I see him.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now. So I'm hoping that it goes over to the stream. Huh? It has you muted now, Elix. You're just clicking when you want to
Uh,
talk.
no, yeah, I did it on
Okay.
purpose.
All right. I don't have mine set up that way because I don't want to sit there and have to remember because I've done that in the past and I've forgotten to unmute myself. Um, so can you do me a favor? Can you have like either on your phone or whatever, just have up the Twitch stream for just so you can see if I know that it's hearing me because I did the 2 o'clock game, but can we check just to confirm that it is picking up you on the stream?
Yep, give me 1 second. I'll give it a shot.
Yep. Tucker, stop right now. Be a good boy, dog. Tucker, stop it. You cannot be barking like that. No, not
Yeah, it is working.
All right, cool, good. Tucker, stop it, little dog. All right, cool, good. Then let's go here, and I'm going to replay that because I don't know if you saw this, but the first on the kickoff.
Okay, let me. Over here.
Tucker, stop it.
There we go.
Look at that. So what was I going to say? Oh yeah. So kickoff return, 70-yard kickoff return by Kaiser Willem. No, 99-yard kickoff return. Sorry, the kick was 70 yards and return was 99 yards for a touchdown by Plainville. So going up early, in what I think is going to be a hard game for them to score on this church zone. So I did it. Tucker, stop it. I guess before we go further, I want to quickly get the dog something to eat. Maybe it'll shut him up, so our listeners don't have to get earful of dog barking the whole stream. So just give me 1 sec. All right, Tucker. I'm going to give you some food, and you're going to be a good doggy. If you're not a good doggy, I'm going to put you in your crate in the bedroom. All right. So yeah, I did the 2 o'clock game. I did. Did you get to watch your Hanna-Barbera versus the Lions?
I was able to listen in on it at least.
Oh, so did you listen to the stream?
Yeah, I listened to the stream. Yeah.
Oh, cool. That's awesome. It was a good game. I mean, it kind of was what I expected it to be. Well, you heard it. If you listened to the stream, you heard my commentary. So
Yeah.
feel free to comment on my commentary if you wish to, or you can comment on this game. I will tell you that I got some positive feedback from our GLB2 fans that really enjoyed having you and Raid join me the last time we streamed. They liked that format where we were talking about stuff and kind of playing the game in the background. And if some big plays came up, we kind of talked about that. So it got favorable feedback.
Yeah. So the first thing I'll say for us over the Hannah game was I thought it has a lot of the hallmarks of why I don't like a balanced offense, Hanna-Barbera, you know. But
wow, that's interesting. You'll have to tell me that about why, because I was the other way. So I'm interested to hear why you don't like a balanced offense.
So it's a mixed bag, right? Like what the concept is behind Hanna-Barbera, and it works, to be clear, is just call a balanced offense, and there's so much star power in offense, it's just not possible to stop it, right?
Like the program?
You might be able to slow it down, but it's going to do what it does. And the key part of it is to make it that it's truly untaggable, right? Like you can tag pass, but the way that we set up Hanna-Barbera is we actually win with the run game, but we pass more than we run. It's actually like a 60-40 split. But that's because if you ever do tag us run, well, we still have 3 superstar receivers who all have 100 catch and traffic and 100 hands, and then you just lose that way, right?
Yeah.
And then on the other side of that is if you tag us pass, well, we're going to run rough shot over you and win that way. So that's the idea. But where it gets frustrating, though, is if, if somebody does decide that they're going to sell out on the pass, for instance, or they're going to sell out on the run. They do go 100%. There are some times that you're on like 3rd and 1 and you're passing and they've tagged you pass, and then you just end up with a dead drive, right? Where if you just had run the ball like most teams would, that's a first down regardless, So those are things that are a little annoying. But, I mean, that's more so over the body of a whole season, that doesn't matter. But in the game-to-game, it can be a little frustrating. So it's more for me as a spectator.
Sorry, go ahead. Finish your thought.
No, that's it. It's more for me as a spectator. It annoys me sometimes, rather than like it being a bad idea.
Yeah, my idea of like balanced is like I try to have it so when people go in and look, right, and they try to scout me, that over the season we appear to be balanced, right? And I do know, well, because you've scouted me. We've had enough battles between the Grape Apes and the program that I think for the most part I'm not predictable, but there are several scenarios where you can see that my offense is predictable, and in those cases it's just like, okay, I know you're gonna tag me, but I'm that confident in this play or these plays that, I'm going to have my best stuff against your best stuff. But for the most of the time, I try to make it hard to tag, but I don't go 50-50 across the board.
Right. I will say, too, I am surprised that Ganema didn't run. I am kind of, I want to say, somewhat infamous for just full pass tagging you if you don't have a superstar halfback. So I thought he might try and attack that. Yep. But he just stuck to his game plan, which, he has a good passing attack. But, I mean, over the course of a whole drive, you won't succeed like that against. I mean, we set up to the idea behind Hanna-Barbaric, right, is you can't stop our offense. Well, how are you going to catch back up? You're going to have to pass the ball, and we're going to have corners and safeties to stop you from doing that. So it kind of played into our hand a little bit.
I assumed in the game that, I made a couple assumptions. One, that based on how he was calling that game, that he was at the very least a pass-heavy offense, and that number 2, because of that, I assumed that you did pass tag him for the game. Are those assumptions correct?
Yeah, everything was pass tagged 100%. Like for every, even 3rd and 1, it's 100% pass tag.
Yeah, because I don't even know if he ran the ball at all in that game. I meant to go back and.
Yeah, I'm not sure that he did either. Actually, from what I heard, I haven't watched the game yet, but I just remember, listening to you call it. I don't think I remember you calling a run at all. So.
Yep. Not for him. You did a great. I really, really see. Like, I enjoyed watching your Hanna-Barbaric. I really enjoyed your game plan. Even on the downs where, like on first down, I pointed it out. One thing that I thought was really cool was, you would pass. Wow, look at this. Plainville is giving Church some difficulties here so far in this game.
Go
ahead.
To speak on Church, they suffer against elusive back still. They haven't got that formula quite right yet. So this could be an interesting game.
And because, as I told our whoever was going to watch either this or the YouTube vid, that right now Church is sitting atop of, in first place, the veteran tier and the dynasty tier. So in my mind, that makes them
great
the number 1 team in the game because they're number 1 at the highest level.
Yes. Yeah, Riff took
and
2 losses.
Has been doing it for a while with this. I mean, this whole run, for Church, I think that he's might have his number of losses over his whole run might be fewer than like some teams have in a year.
Yeah, absolutely. He probably has a combined total of like 8 losses, something around that mark, which, yeah, most teams in a league will have that much in a season. So
Yeah, I mean, I have him, Cavo, and you, not in any particular order, as three of the top coaches in GLB2 right now.
well, just real
Rob
quick, I'll put
came
it in
back and
order.
really didn't live up to the legend. I do think that Dredger is a hell of a coach, and I don't think that until recently though. I think he took a little bit of a break and let things slide a little bit. When he's on his game, I think Dredger is up there with you three as far as
Yeah.
current top coaches. I mean, you guys are all guys that I have an extreme difficult time beating.
So to speak of that, you didn't put an order to it, but I will real quick. It is number 1 is Kavoth, and it's not close. And then it's Ganema, and then it's me. And then that's probably in contention now with Dredgar. I actually been working on a top 10 coaches list, which I still haven't put out yet because I wasn't sure on who number 10 was. But I knew that Dredgar wasn't on it because he wasn't game planning. But he's game planning again, and he's definitely now in that top 10 again.
It's nice to see him active in the GLB2 Academy forums lately. You can kind of like see and hear the enthusiasm in his posts, that has been missing for the past 1 or 2 seasons, I think. So, I hope that we can maintain that because he is definitely top shelf.
Yeah, because I mean, when I was going to do the top 10, I'm like, am I really going to have a top 10 without Dredgar in it? And I had to be honest and be like, yeah, recently he doesn't have the credentials anymore. But then this season, he's turned it back around. Like he's got big wins this season. So
I 100% agree. I hope I made your top 10.
Yes, you are in the top 10. I don't want to give it away just yet because I will one day release it. But
controversially, I probably will not be in that top 10.
Hey, is that Raid joining us? I gotta check.
Raid, yeah.
Sweet. Hello again, Raid. How did your game turn out with I didn't get to see your game versus the Sloths because I was streaming Hanna-Barbera versus the Lions. So I heard Dreadguard posted in the forums that the first half was scoreless, I believe, right?
First half was a 7-7 tie.
Oh, 7-7. Tied up. That's what he said. How did it end?
It started to go in Mike's favor after that.
Your favor or Dreadguard's favor?
In Mike's favor more than anybody's.
Mike. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So then that is for you.
Yeah, for our halfback, yeah.
Nice. I'm so happy to see the success that you have had because for the longest time, before your team, you were a forum presence in sharing your knowledge of the game, and you made a lot of dots along the way, but you really didn't have your own team, so it's great to see not only that you got to have your own team, but the community pulled together, and most of us built dots to the way you wanted them built for your vision, I thought at one point in this season that your team was number 1 recently, even was number 1 at the veteran tier. Is that correct?
That's been a bloodbath this season. He's been number 1 so far for sure.
Right. Well, yeah, I'm excited to see your team. The community came together for me, and that's kind of how I have the program. So it's nice to see them do the same thing for you. And now in the rookie level, the community came together and helped Ace put together a team. Although, well, you know what, your ideas, right, obviously have been successful. I think they were a little bit different than the meta. I think that what Ace is trying to do is a little bit different from the meta. So it's nice to see that. He's off to a good start, and you've had a hell of a run. Church ties it up 7-7.
I've always thought that going with the meta was boring as shit. Excuse my language, but it's like if you're just going to go for the meta, if you're just going to go to win in the normal way, you can do it. But what fun is there? What's there to explore in that? You got to try to find new lanes. You got to try to find ways to do things that are different. It's just always been my way of doing things.
Yeah, I like to have like one meta team and then like all my other experiments, like all my other teams, if it's my own team or coaching a team for someone else. That's when I kind of like to experiment a little bit, you know.
I think though that meta chasing doesn't really work in this game, or at least it hasn't recently. When Rift was made, it actually was a off meta team, right? Like a full pass rush D line with a dedicated pass rushing linebacker that all go into high tech with tunnel vision and high snap. That was an off team. But now you see an emergence of like blitz heavy teams and 5-2 schemas and things like that have become the meta since then, but weren't at the time. So I think if you try and like build solely around that, you'll kind of get left behind, right? If you only try and copy what has proven successful recently and don't add your own twist to it.
Yeah, and but I guess a little bit. Like, I mean, I still use a lot of the stuff that I like learned from False 06, from Jagator, from Osiris. I mean, they were the big early influences on me. I still use a lot of that same stuff, but at the same time, like I'll admit, watching games and scouting other teams, like today's game, your Hanna-Barbaric, I'm gonna check out that SI tight end out that you used a lot. I'm gonna do some scrimmages, I think, with after I scout Ghanama's Lions playbook, right? Because there are some teams, because of their such good builds, their player builds, right, that they don't have to rely on the safety net plays like BI tight end cross, like
Right.
trips tight end flag. There are teams that are finding success using different plays, and like so I've watched that and I've incorporated that into especially my program playbook, like adding the screens with Darnell and some of the other stuff that I've seen successful teams using. I'm like, it works for them. I wonder if it can work for me.
Yeah, I can speak on that a little bit too, because when we designed Hanna-Barbaric, the idea was like, okay, we want an unstoppable offense. Let's give everybody Scholar. So just as another point in that regard, Captain Caveman, for instance, has Scholar as a power back. Because fuck it, maybe it helps. But we're only going to play 2 wide, and the reason why is because there's only so many effective plays versus 2 wide. You got your cover 1 T smother and on, right?
Yep.
Well, if we only play 2 wide, we're forcing teams to use their most effective plays to stop us, and we get even better at defending them faster.
So that's nice foresight. I hadn't thought about it that way. That's nice foresight. Right. I had not thought about it that way. So we just had a church turnover and a nice 24-yard reception by Smiling Kovath. So go ahead now. Finish your thoughts. Sorry to interrupt.
No, you're fine. I think it was a good run. Or catch for me to say. But the thing that we kind of realized when we got to it, we're like, okay, we're going to have only 2 wide offense. Let's have the 2 wide offense plays. Oh, shit. There's really just like I double back out and up and deep flag weak post. What else is in 2 wide? Yep. There's not much. We had to go out and find like, okay, actually, what are the good 2 wide passing plays besides those 2? Because most teams run several sets, so you only have to pick, the best 2 or 3 passing plays of any set and you're good to go. But when you're only going to exist in one set, you have to have a playbook, 13, 14, 15 passes deep. And we had to find these plays that actually work still, that nobody called. So things like TE out, FL hitch, those all got added in. It was like, maybe this will work. And then through tuning it, found like these are the plays that work for us. Right. So,
Yep. Have you tried SI? Is it like quick outs or whatever? It's there's one of them's out of SI. Your two wide receivers run short hooks, and your tight end runs like that inside kind of pass, similar to route, kind of similar to I double back out and up.
I see.
And then Pistol Strong has one that's like it's kind of the same idea as that SI. I like both of those. I saw you. I think you were running streaks as well, right?
Yes, I run week streaks. Yeah.
Yep.
That's one that I've seen a lot of people start running weak eye streaks lately.
Yep. Ooh, what a catch. What a throw. What a catch.
I just got to say, and in general right now, out routes are very hot. But
yeah, that's true.
If I could go back to that whole idea on building the meta, I think it's not unimportant to remember, all the things that we found in the past. It's good to go back and have all those bases to our builds, but if you're not building to something different, then you're not really trying to, advance the game in any kind of way. And I think that really that's a lot of fun a lot of how you have fun in this game is by trying to find new ways and better ways of doing things instead of just relying on what other people have found, because there's so much out there that we just are still discovering in this game.
Well, I attribute that to two things, though. I attribute that to, and these things are kind of married. One is better dots being built, because I know that there were times where a lot of these plays that people are calling now that aren't the traditional plays, right? The completion percentage on those were a lot lower because people's dots weren't as good as dots are now. So with coaches, like Helix and like you sharing your ideas, and us putting stuff out there. People like Feep even and all the experimentation that he does. We haven't mentioned him. I think that people are building better dots now, which makes those other plays, and especially like better. I forget, was it Exars or somebody's talking about in the forums about trying to create an anti-scholar offense where they use plays that are less used. Now
and there's saying too that
church play.
The Raiders, the 2001 Raiders used that the idea on defense, and they're not the greatest defense, but they're like a top 3 defense in our league, and they're all unboosted players, right? And they're only calling like weird, bizarre defensive plays that nobody calls, and it works.
That is interesting. I mean, DL Kurt is an excellent coach. At the very least, an excellent. Actually, I can say on both sides of the ball, because I can remember back in the day having battles with him with his Northwest Storms teams, and at the beginning we were about 50-50, but I think he has a slight advantage over me back then. I think right now I might have picked up a slight advantage to kind of get us back to like 50-50.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's impressive that's like unboosted and defensively using those different plays. Viper is kind of the same way, like with my how demoralizing team. He's in charge of the defense on that team, and he's calling plays that like I've never used, never seen before, and they're working really, really well. I mean, he built the entire defense, to suit his scheme, but I think that Viper is a better. I think he will admit too, he's a better DC than he is OC. But go ahead, guys.
I want to speak real quick also on Rage Point. I keep wanting to revisit the idea of like meta and like how teams go. When you design a team, like you should have a foundation, and that foundation needs to be safe, and you need to know it works. So I think most teams that work, there's like 60 to 70% of like known quantities. And after that, it should be 30%, 40% of unknown quantities. Things that you have a good solid hunch will work, but you're not sure and you think can make work. That's what makes Adderfist and I like a good pairing, is he'll come up with wild ideas, but 90% of them are bad. So I have to take all these ideas that he has and filter them down to like, okay, this idea, I can make this work. And that's what you have to kind of do. You have to have like a hint of realism of like, this is how the game operates on a fundamental level. So this idea won't work. But these other ideas, I can make this into something, right? That's how like the idea of Dinosaurs came about. Like when I realized that with superstar cornerbacks being cheaper, I can build them like linebackers now. That'll make Dinosaurs work. Like that's how you get to an idea like that.
I definitely agree.
Yeah, see, I just threw together Sedgwick with stuff that I thought sounded fun.
But you also
So it shows
built it to your vision though, and you had, I mean, I if I remember correctly, there was some feedback. You took feedback from the from your agents, that kind of came together and built dots for you, much like I did with the program. I had a vision for what I wanted the team to be like. I mean, we had the forum, where a lot of people gave input. I ultimately made the decision and posted builds that I wanted the people to go with, and for the most part, been fortunate that people have stuck with them and not done their own thing.
And I still think that Testdorp has a solid foundation of like a meta grounding for the time, right? At the time of when Testdorp was made, it was understood that you needed a high catching traffic tight end and you needed a superstar halfback. Didn't matter what kind, just have one. Now, since the meta's evolved, where like, elusive backs are generally considered to be a bit better than power back. I disagree, but people will disagree with me. But the idea of still having a superstar tight end is there. It's just now we've also added you also need to have a superstar wide receiver probably, Yep.
I agree. That's my recipe for the program. Edelman, Gronkowski, and Darnell.
Right.
Don't even need a superstar quarterback. Joe Kane's doing just fine.
What did you say there, Red?
I'm saying it does help to spread the ball out when you have a star everywhere like that.
Yeah, it really helps make it a lot harder to key in on you. I would say that what Testdorp did do on offense was a bit different for the time. Some people were doing this, but not many, was doing the not only a superstar quarterback, but a superstar quarterback with very high pocket awareness, which has paid you big dividends in our matchups, I know, throughout the leagues, throughout the seasons.
So one thing you guys had said earlier, I think it was Elix that had said it. Once we start the new season and start the stream team, I definitely hope that I'll be able to have you guys continuing to kind of have these conversations, because I really think that both veteran, like GLB tours, but if we can get some people from the Twitch community that haven't been, and start growing this thing. There's just so much information, the knowledge that we can share, and I'll invite other veteran GLB tours to join me when you guys cannot, just because I really like this format. I enjoy doing the, calling the game. But I enjoy being able to talk with you guys and other coaches and share our knowledge.
Yeah. Also, I meant to mention this really early on, but we got sidetracked with, just conversation at large. But the very first play of the game, right? The huge return by Kaiser Wilhelm. I've noticed, and I think Raid has agreed with me previously, it seems like across the board, just speedier, elusive type backs are just really way more effective this season on returns. I don't know what it is. It's not just returner rush, because a lot of these returners don't have returner rush, but they're just more effective than I've seen any season previously. When it comes to specifically the elusive type power backs, they always do power back things on returns, but specifically like the speedier elusive guys just seem more effective this season.
Yeah, I think you can correct me if you're wrong because like you definitely do a deeper dive. Both of you do a deeper dive than I do. Um, I'm good at like researching from what uh, people like you guys do, and from talking with you guys, and then I take that information and share it. I don't take it as my own. I try to give credit where credit's due, but I think I have this hypothesis that that's due to like um, for power halfbacks, right? Isn't um, oh my gosh, why am I totally blanking right now? A power tackling kind of the answer to power halfbacks, and I don't know is there one for an answer like power tackling for elusive?
So to tackle an elusive, so you're correct in a lot of ways, right? Like in order to tackle a half or power back, you need power primarily, and then if that fails to stop them, you need grip, right? To hold on to them and like lower their balance and eventually bring them down. For elusive backs, if you want to know how to attack an elusive back, okay, well, you need pursuit, you need tackle tech, you need footwork, you need balance, you need speed and quickness to get there in time. Like the answer gets a lot more complicated than just have grip and power and you'll be fine, right? There's a lot more variables involved in tackling elusive backs. And you can have a player that has most of those things checked off and they don't have the one, and you're going to miss a tackle, and it's going to be hard to understand why.
Yep. I also think that power backs were better for a while. There was a while where people were griping about how overpowered power backs are, you know. And then because of that, people went to, power tackle, grip, to try to have an answer for power backs, which allowed people that were non-meta thinkers, like both of you, to be like, okay, everybody's building like defenses around stopping power backs. So now let's switch, let's flip it. Let's build elusive backs, and now people are like, oh, elusive backs are so broken,
Right. And I'll also credit real quick Kavoth here for that, because I think previously people were already starting to kind of move away from power banks, and then Tarask came into the scene and just dominated all the way to vet and still dominated even there. And that kind of made people like buckle back down. Like, it was almost like, in baseball, they were kind of edging off the base to move somewhere else. And then, oh no, they've got to get back on base. Like there's still, the boogeyman's still out there when it comes to power backs, and they had to double down to stopping him. But yeah, I'm not personally of the belief that elusive backs are actually too strong. I think most people have just been building away from them for too long. I mean, my last two backs, Salombo and Captain Caveman, respectively, they both have power running skills. I'm not worried about it. I think power backs are just fine.
Yeah, I agree.
It's just the pendulum swings back and forth, right?
Totally agree.
Well, I mean, you can see Kaiser getting shut down in this game so far. It's not like elusive backs are just a complete silver bullet or anything. It's just that if you have good blocking in the first place and you can get the momentum rolling for them, it's just a lot easier to get that momentum rolling.
Yeah, I agree.
All right. I need to take a break for a minute, guys, to clean up mess that my dog just made. So can you just kind of keep talking amongst yourselves, and I will be right back to continue playing the game and hop into the conversation. It shouldn't take me more than a couple minutes. The dog just came to me like all soaking wet. So I'm like, what did you do?
I do think I'm curious what your thoughts are, because I know that if you're not restarting Testador this season, then the coming season, then I imagine the season thereafter. What is your thoughts on tweaking Mike Hart, if you want to put that out there, or are you even going to go with a Mike Hart type build or something else entirely?
Well, the thing is that everybody always says that I build elusive backs, but I've been building speed backs this entire time,
Right.
and I think I may be done with that.
Maybe move to something a bit slower. I've had a mixed bag with that so far, with Kit Ferris being so far completely terrible and bet, which has been surprising. But then also Slombo has been maybe better than expected so far.
Well, yeah, but I mean, look at Skull Taker. It's not like he's got blazing speed either. It's not
That's correct.
necessarily, it's not something that you need to have apparently. And it's like I kind of realized that with both now, like being able to do what he does with 82 speed.
Yeah, I would say even with Skull Taker has 80 sprinting. I know Business Time also has 80 sprinting. 80 sprinting seems to be enough that, like, if you ever do get separation, they're never going to catch you anyway, at that point. You could maybe argue that more sprinting is better for outside runs just to get to the edge. But once you're there and you make a tackler miss, at that point, your speed, once it's at a certain point, like 80, it doesn't really matter anymore. You're going to go the distance regardless.
Yeah, I think it's probably somewhere around 70 is where you can just, if you break the tackles and start running in a straight line, no one's going to catch you.
Yeah, 70 is probably like the floor of that, but it is right around that point if you're going to try and guesstimate it.
Yep, that's about what I've found is a good place to aim for, is somewhere around that area. 80 is much more reliable. Like you said,
I think 80 is you're guaranteed gone. What I've known with Kit Ferris is 65 is enough to where you're going to make a big gain, but you probably get chased down for like a 40 yards, right? Like, so if it's a 40-yard run for a touchdown, you'll get there. But if it's an 80-yard run, well, you're going to get a good pickup, but you won't make it all the way. That safety's going to catch you.
Yeah, well, you know me and my weird theories, so I'm always looking at ratios, but yeah.
Now, to be fair, I did say that ratios were conspiratorial last time, except I do believe them when it comes to halfbacks. So take that for what you will.
All right, I'm back. My dog got into a plastic water bottle. Like sometimes we'll give him like the plastic water bottle, take the cap off, and let's give him the plastic water bottle like as a chew toy. That backfired because he found a plastic water bottle that was full of water. And
I see.
So at first I thought he like pissed on the floor. And I was like, flipping dog. But then like I'm looking, it's like that's not pee. That's just way too much. And
yeah,
like,
at least
mopping
it was
stuff up. And then I found the bottle, and I'm like, oh, you little son of a gun.
Yeah, at least it was water and not anything else, though.
Yeah, so I had to basically mop the whole the whole floor.
Well, let's see if they've run tagged us hard enough so we can get anything going. Maybe, I don't know.
I mean, Kaiser did have a few good runs, but you're right. The majority of his runs, they pretty well contained him. That's one thing that I've noticed as well. Like what I do like about a hybrid defense, more so at higher levels, is zone being better at least in my experience, at containing those outside runs.
Yes.
So it
If the
does
zone's
that, and it does a good job shutting down some of the passing especially at the veteran level if your players are built well. And Ghanem has shown us that.
Yeah, I think outside running zone tends to do better. There are some times when obviously it doesn't. If you call something like a cover 3, outside running can be pretty devastating. But anything cover 2, it's pretty much a lock. You're not going to get a run done against that. But again, like their weaknesses generally the inside runs, which is why you see a lot of zone coaches double up on run stopping DTs or at least hybrid DTs, both superstar. They know that that's the dagger, so they try and cover it up.
Agreed. Yeah, that's why I like I like the combination of like one superstar pass rusher DT, one superstar run stopper DT, because there's sometimes we're just having that superstar pass rusher like against a team that's more pass heavy just blows shit up.
Yeah, I think for a really long time, way too long, run stopping DTs were kind of the only kind of DTs. But realistically, the best pass rush you can have is an interior pass rush. It comes so fast that there's not really a defense against it when it works.
Have you been able to accomplish that with non-superstars DTs? You know, because back in the day, I haven't done this in a long time, but my defense was set up so that I used like odd formations. Can't remember how, if it was like odd formations were like against the run and even formations were against the pass or vice versa. I forgot. It's been so long since I've done that, you know. So
vice versa. It was 4 against the run, 3 against the pass.
Another interception for Church.
Yeah.
This is why
I will say
number one zone. Go ahead.
Oh, well, just to your question about do you think you can do it with non-superstars? Other people could disagree with me, but I basically think that if you don't do superstar, then you can't take TV. So at that point, you just go spin cycle. And spin cycle non-super DTs, to be clear, are perfectly effective. They'll get you 10 to 20 sacks a season, no problem. But if you want to do tunnel vision, you basically have to be a superstar, in my opinion.
I had some success with, like I said, when I was doing the formation based, right? On my on my TV guys, I had, because they were specialists, right?
Right.
I just put a high blitz awareness on them because, like, pretty sure, yeah, it's TV that has that severe penalty against blitz awareness, right?
Negative 20 at gold, negative 28 at bronze.
Yep. So I just put a lot into the blitz awareness and was able to have pretty good success on that. But like I said, I haven't done that in a long time.
Yeah, and I don't want to. Anything I say is rooted in the mind of wisdom or anything like that, or the mind of greatness. But that's just what I personally believe. You could definitely prove me wrong by having like superstar linebackers over top of, you know, a 3-4, and have 2 superstar linebackers that blitz over top of the NT who's not a superstar, and it's fine. But generally, that's what I believe.
Yep. Yeah, actually, you could have like that spin DT with the interior inside linebackers, superstars blitzing basically, because if they I could see that. I haven't done that, but I could definitely see that. Most of my defensive tackles have been of the run stopping variety, and I would just blitz with an outside linebacker. I am not the master of blitzes like you are, and there's a few other coaches that have done a great job. Like Viper does a nice job bringing inside pressure. I'm not good at that yet. So you can
talk about blitzes.
New tricks.
This is the thing that a lot of people get wrong when it comes to blitzing, and they don't understand like why their defense doesn't perform like, for instance, Riff might or something like that, but they still have a superstar defensive line and it's not getting the same performance. If you go spin cycle on your D line, the only time you should blitz is if you're blitzing on the outside edge, and it should be one person, no more. And the reason why is because spin cycle is counterintuitive to the blitz. That's why the Gray Babies is a 5-2 line. It's 5-2 line, it's spin cycle. We don't really blitz. We do just because for play knowledge reasons, but not actually because we think the blitz will work. When you spin as an interior lineman, like I'm on a guard, I spin. Okay, that guard is no longer going to try and engage me. What instead he's going to do is he's going to find the next open man and he's going to go to block him instead. So if I'm on a NT and I'm blitzing two linebackers over top of that nose tackle and I spin with that nose tackle, he's pick up a linebacker instead, which is exactly what I don't want to happen. I want him to focus on that nose tackle. That's why he has to be tunnel vision.
Who gets stunned by the spin?
The stun is only a 2-tick stun, for instance. It's not enough to make him not respond to other blitzers. It's only enough to let that spin cycle animation fire off.
Oh.
Enough to where that he's behind him now. So that's why you have to have tunnel vision if you do interior blitzing. If you're doing interior blitzing, you have to have tunnel vision on the line, because what you're hoping for is that rev cake. The rev cake creates the channel for that linebacker to get through. But when I spin, I haven't created a channel at all. I've just created a free blocker. And now my slow nose tackle is running toward the quarterback, but who cares?
Very interesting. Like, I've never done spin tackle DTs, but I did not realize that. I usually will do a spin tackle DE to pair up with my outside blitzer.
Right. So
but I don't tend to blitz as much at the higher levels either.
Yeah. Generally speaking, if you go spin, I think, blitz, sure, just to be, a bit harder to read and whatever, but blitz from the outside. And primarily, don't blitz. Spin cycle is there to generate pressure without having to overcommit. That's the point of spin cycle. I don't need to send all these extra people at you to get a sack. I'm just going to take whatever sack happens to come my way, and I'm not going to worry about it. It's TV that you need to have a very defined scheme. You have to know where your blitzers are coming from, how everything interacts. It's very scientific to make TV work properly compared to just, I pick spin and things are going to be fine.
See, I learned something new today. Oh, man. Another interception. That's just why Kahneman's zone is so good. It's just so hard to play against. I mean, it shuts down the outside run pretty well. I mean, he's built it to shut down the outside run. And then interceptions from underneath.
Well, the main problems here are that Plainfield's outside run blocking is a little bit lacking, and the general game plan coming into this is not a smart one against zone. The passing attack has been focused mainly downfield in the middle, and a lot of the routes have been curls in or like slants in. It's just not what you should be doing against a team that's running all zone, cover 3, cover 4.
Offenses who are calling against zone, you need to stay away from hooks, you need to stay away from curls. And if it makes your wide receiver turn around at all, it shouldn't be in your playbook. Everything should be stretching the field out and away from your quarterback.
You want to go upfield and toward the sideline. That's it, basically. You want your playbook to be full of all of that. Just that.
Another interception.
Yep. Basically, that's why if you are throwing in front of their defenders, or if you are throwing, in the middle of the field, you're throwing into the danger zones. The only safe zones are along the sidelines and really deep downfield.
So arguably a sideline bomb quarterback could be pretty good against his own. I mean, obviously, there's more than just that factor, but I mean, I would think that given what you guys just said, that would make sideline bomb pretty good.
Well, it's just the way that this game is with zones. Like, because the quarterback has no ability to throw it away from defenders. Like when you're normally reading a zone, you look at the holes in the zone, and instead of throwing right to where the receiver is, you throw it at the hole in the zone where your receiver can get to it.
Yeah, that's what I love about playing Madden, playing Bob Murdoch's, Myrick's in his Madden league. It was rough in the beginning, right? I think I was like 2-5, like at one point in time, but now I got 2 weeks left in the regular season, and I'm in the playoffs right now. Not a lock. I got got to get a little bit of help, but to stay there. But actually, like the timing, knowing like when to throw the ball, and you can lead, you can throw bullet passes, you can throw lob passes. That's definitely not in this game.
I mean, it's one of those things where when you're talking about reading a man-to-man defense, the quarterback's job is to continuously go through his reads and to find the guy who's open. And like I said, when you're reading a zone defense, your job is to read the defense itself, remember where the routes are going, and then throw it to a hole where one of your guys is going. And the quarterback just doesn't have that ability in this game. Like, he just still just does what they do against man-to-man.
Throws interceptions like that.
Blindly, with no regard about what's in between him and the guy that he's throwing to. He just thinks the guy is open a little bit, I'm going to throw it to him. And because they're open all the time, basically, like the distance that they're away from a zone player versus a man-to-man player, hugely different for like how open you are, but the game registers them as the same. You end up with just very, very poor decision making by the quarterback. So you have to try to avoid throwing it anywhere where it's in danger.
Yeah, you oftentimes will see a quarterback and he's like, okay, this guy's wide open, I'll throw it to him. But you watching it know, like, no, that guy is triple covered. You just think that because there's enough spacing there, but they're going to have a time to react before that ball's in, to the receiver.
Yep.
I think the actual fix to this, because I think trying to get an AI adjustment to this is going to be very difficult. I think the actual fix is to make pass power a lot more effective on the velocity of the ball. If the ball just actually got to the receiver sooner, then those spacings that the quarterback thinks is open, it might actually be open. But with even with tons of pass power, right, 60, 70, half the time your quarterback's throwing ducks, and it's not like there's a lot of zip on the ball even the best of times.
So here's a question for you guys. How effective do you think CIT is, catching traffic, is against the zone? I know you're talking about targeting, the sidelines, right? Deep on the sidelines. How do you think that CIT truly helps to minimize interceptions, or do you think that that's not, you haven't seen that in your experience?
So it does help on interceptions, but only in one specific instance, right? It doesn't help if you throw the ball and a linebacker just jumps up and snags out of the air, right? That doesn't help at all. The only time it actually matters if the ball gets to the wide receiver, right, and he doesn't catch it, and the cornerback didn't just catch the ball outright, they catch it off of like the wide receiver failing to catch it, right? That is where you'll get increased interceptions by not having catching traffic. So it does matter, but that's not how zone usually gets interceptions. That's usually how man gets interceptions.
Yep. All right, that's good. I hadn't even thought about that until you pointed it out. That is just for that specific situation, and then that specific is not really zone. Zone, like a lot of the zone interceptions we see is either like on an overthrow or underneath coverage jumping up and making the catch.
So yeah, I don't think it matters that much. I think the biggest help you can do to wide receivers against zone is don't drop the damn ball, right? Like half of zone's pass offense is just nailing you after you catch the ball and then you coughing it up. If you actually could hang on to every pass you caught, you could carve zone up pretty well. But, you're looking at like a 30-40% knock loose rate, which can be frustrating. If you cut that away, well, you've got a real offense there, provided you're not throwing 6 interceptions a game or something. But,
Yeah, I was going to say the only two things you really need to beat zone are receiving grip and hands. Whereas against man, you definitely need that catch in traffic. Like, it's even more important than hands, basically.
Yeah, Kavoth has proved that. Kavoth has had in rookie tight ends who have like 90 catch in traffic and just like 45 or 50 hands, and they still catch everything.
Yep.
Frustrating, actually, even. I mean, it sucks when you see a wide open pass happen and they just butterfinger it and drop it, but that's not most passes, right? Most passes are there's a cornerback right on top of you, and it's a contested role, and catching traffic matters more at that point.
Excellent. Well, thank you guys again. This one comes to a conclusion, 49-7, Church of the Holy Zone. Kind of what I think we all expected to see.
Yeah,
Church
it's unfortunate that
for a reason.
the only point they got came off of a return, so that's unfortunate. You want to see a little more than that offensively, but like you said, it is expected that this is how it would go.
So thank you guys. I will look at the schedule, and let you guys know ahead of time if and when I'm gonna stream again.
Yep.
And once the new season starts, it's probably right before the new season starts. My first stream team, I think my first stream team stream/video will be me showing how to make I'm gonna make a fullback for the team, I guess, and just make like a free player, basically a free so showing new players, more so aimed for like new players on how to make a free player, how to make a player, but also talk a little bit about how to build players and where they can find information, like the forums, like talking to veteran coaches, like GLB2 Academy. Um, uh, so that's going to be like the very first video. And then some of the videos after that will be as people are either building players or I'm building players for people for the team. So we'll get into like team building a little bit, and talk about the difference between this team and maybe a team that is built to be more competitive. I mean, I don't want this to be a non-competitive team, but my number one goal is to try to make something that's educational for people, right? Um, and to try to bring some people in from the Twitch community, hopefully. We gotta do something to grow our player base if this game is gonna survive. So that's one of my big goals and that's why I'm doing the stream team. Is I'm hoping that if I advertise it enough and some people just say, "What's this?" and they click on it and they watch it, and hopefully we'll get a few people, and maybe a few people will get their friends into it, and hopefully we can get this game up and going again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. Also, just real quick, good game, by the way, against the Screaming Red Devils. I don't know if you actually commentated or not.
Well, I did not commentate. I watched. I think I watched like the first half, and then I kind of knew the outcome, and I'm just like,
right.
that shows again. And honestly, Grape Apes are the better team. Grape Apes, should have won that game and did win that game handily. But just for the record, I don't know if you changed your plans, but I used the exact, and I know they're two different teams, but I used the exact same game plan from the program versus Grape Apes. And you can see the disparity between the two.
Yeah, I mean, I use literally the same game plan I used against the program. I always use my defaults against the program the first time because I'm always hoping, yes, I'll do my defaults. If I can do that, I really got a an extra trump card in my back pocket. If I can beat my default, but it hasn't worked in 4 seasons now, so I'm still waiting on that one. But
yeah, I've been fortunate that I've been able to pick up a few extra tweaks to, give you something to have to plan around. And then again, players is huge. I mean, you've got an excellent team. I've got an excellent team. So. But I did notice that you have changed your defensive plan from when we were like earlier on when I first kind of found those chinks in your armor. You definitely addressed those issues.
Yeah, I think I just was originally building because again the defense is a hybrid defense. I was building the linebackers a little too man slanted for how much zone I was putting them in. So I'm trying to fix that. Time will tell if I get the formula right or not, but hopefully. But I do think it is interesting that you use the same game plan and I did too, and there's a wildly different outcome though. So that does say something. I don't know what it says, but
I mean, it says the value of super. To me, it says the value of superstars.
Red Devil has like 5 or 6 there, right? It's just not quite as loaded as
right, and I mean, but also too the superstars. I think let me quickly bring that up. Let me see. Let's see.
I think you don't have a power or a halfback though, which is a big deal, obviously.
Yep. Let's see here.
Yeah, no halfback, no tight end.
Yeah, I mean, we do have 2 good non-superstar halfbacks, but as you said, superstar halfbacks are almost like a necessity. I wouldn't even say almost are a necessity. We don't have a superstar tight end either. I like both of our tight ends, Bodie and Voss, but again, they're not superstars, so I only have Tyreek, and I try to move Tyreek all over the field, So
yeah.
Our defensive tackles help us. The superstar defensive end definitely helps.
Yeah, it looks like a pretty standard defense. It's just your offense. It's a bit anemic. You're just missing a piece or two.
Yeah, but I will say this: they definitely have improved a lot. We were in a major salary cap pinch before this season. We had to let a couple of superstars that weren't as valuable go, so that we could kind of get the. Now we have some depth. It would be nice to have a superstar halfback and a superstar tight end. I definitely would like that, but I would have to cut a few extra players. So I probably could, because now because we had like tight on money, and we were like had some CPU linemen, like backup linemen, like on low contracts.
Right.
Now we've got all. We don't have any CPUs. We don't have as many of the, but I could make some things work if I had a good superstar halfback and a good superstar tight end come on the market.
Yeah, if you got both halfbacks, one wide receiver, because you have 5 wide receivers, but one of them is a super, so you don't need it for depth.
Right.
Got rid of one wide receiver, got rid of one cornerback, both the halfback. You probably could fit the tight end and the halfback at that point.
Yeah. But there's got to be a good. Not all superstars are created equal, so it would have to be a good.
Yeah.
It would have to be a good superstar for me to do that. Because the other thing too, especially like with this team here, I created the Screaming Red Devils because
Rich, right?
RCH, yeah, he stopped his team. So those guys were like looking for a home. They were the Mercs. There was a Screaming Eagles team that also was looking for a home, and
Lorelei.
the Red Devils or whatever. That guy that he wasn't even playing. He was like inactive for like 4 seasons or whatever before he ran out of flex. And so those players needed a home as well. So I was just like, and I like Quad a lot. What he does, I think he's a good GM, and I love that his presence on the forums. Right?
Speaking of which, shout out to Quadell. It's great, but you haven't done one in forever, and I can't make a build of the week until you inspire me with a write-up. The build of the weeks are suffering. The player base is suffering because you refuse to put out good content.
Yeah, I'm trying to do some different stuff right now. So as far as like getting ready for the stream team, like streaming with you guys, where and if you guys want to do like as a team, if you guys want to do something like a different thing instead of streaming games, where we just do like let's talk GLB2 and we can talk about a topic, or you want to do like a preview one in a show, we could do some different content. That on top of like all the teams that I'm freaking picked up coaching. Like, I mean, I got the program, which is my baby. I'm just doing the rookie 2021 Cornhuskers, just as a rookie project. And that's basically my pass heavy offense. I've got the Angels. That's my son's account, that I'm going to cut them and replace them with the stream team. How demoralizing. That's the project that I'm doing with Viper, that I talked Viper into hanging around, because remember he was talking about taking a break from the game. So I was like, no, we got to do this collaboration together. So I got to keep them autopilot.
He just needs to come to work with me and Adder. Like, he's in our vein of doing crazy ideas. He just doesn't temper them with, a solid foundation. He just goes full crazy, and then he gets a little upset when it doesn't entirely work out.
Yeah, well, I'm definitely looking forward to collaborating with you guys sometime in the near future. I don't think that I'm thoroughly enjoying the program, right, and that collaborative opportunity that was created, and the success that we're having. But as you well know, that's a ton of work to get to all those superstars. And quite honestly, I would rather collaborate with different people. So I'm going to do my 2 seasons at vet with the program. I'm not going to ask people to boost. I'm not going to, cat boost, right, to be able to have more seasons. Because I worry that not everybody will be able to, and then having to fill things in, it just won't be the same. And then I really enjoyed like collaborating with different people, so I would much rather, after the program completes their run, pare down the number of teams that I actively coach and kind of be part of a brain trust. So I definitely am looking forward to that. And that'll be a good time too, I think, because we won't be competing against each other with the Grape Apes and the program, So I look forward to working with you in the future.
Yeah, I think Kubota and I had to talk about that, of having a separating of the minds sometime soon here, because we just we need to compete more often against one another.
Yep. Well, trust me, after completing this vet run that we're on, it'll be, I don't know about you, but it'll be nice for me to take, I love the chess games, especially like, because other times, like you're either blowing somebody out or what, it's really not a chess game. It's just like, I'm just going to put my default in,
Right.
But I'll definitely be ready for like a mental break and doing something different. It's not a mental break because I'll be working just as hard. It's just, it wouldn't be against you. It would be like with you. Not going to lie. When I see you and Cavo on the same coaching staff, I'm just like, oh man, this is like.
So just as a quick FYI, we've never done a team together, Kavoth and I. There's never been a team where we collaboratively coach. We've decided not to do that because of it'd be bad, right?
It'd be bad for everybody else.
Yeah. So we don't. we never coach on the same team. We might be on the same coaching staff, but we never have done collaborative work together, right? Not ever. And probably never will for that literal reason, right? So, yeah, I mean, it's always just one of us. Whenever you see Kavota 19, there's only actually one person behind the screen pulling strings.
Well, I mean, when you're talking game planning and stuff, or are you talking even building wise?
Only game plan. We do collaborate on building,
Yeah.
though. So yeah, that's not always true. Yeah, there's still effort involved between the both of us there.
Yeah. So, anyways, like I said, I'm looking forward to collaborating with you in the future. I don't have to be like an active OC or DC. I just look forward to working with you. You know, I mean, I think I have some insight that I can provide you, as I've learned all the time from you. So I think that'll be fun.
But yeah, let's definitely have some structured content sometime. I could talk about D-line for well over an hour, just on D-line between tunnel vision and spin cycle, or, you know, how to build wide receivers and things like that. I think there's a ton of information that can be gone over, especially in voice, when you can really get a lot of ideas out and flesh them out and give them body that you can't even do even in posts, right? Or even in Discord, right, when someone's asking questions. Like, it's just harder to put it out there. So I'd love to do, you know, like I said, like specialized content. Like, let's only talk about how to build tight ends today, or, you know, things like that.
Yep. And I think that's good too, because I do the streams, right? But then I archive them on YouTube, right? And
right,
I'll be able to post those on those links in the forum. And I'll ask Bort and them to maybe, once I have enough, maybe what's it called there, where they make it sticky, the post, whatever, so that like doesn't get buried 5 pages down after 3 seasons. So that players, because I think that all players, like I'm a veteran, you know, and when I talk to you and Raid and other coaches that do things differently than me, that's how I've got to where I've got, you know. So, but I also think that would help bring along new players. If there's this library of content that's organized and, you know, titled, so they're like, I want to know how to do this or that type thing, you know. I'm moving more towards being a content creator for the game, and coaching less. I say that as I have 6 teams that I coach right now, but maybe that's why I'm saying that. It's just because it'd be nice just to be able to focus on 1 or 2 teams and then do the content. And like I said, try to keep this game alive. But I got to go, because I'm probably going to watch. I think I have a couple other games I've got a 3 o'clock game and a 4 o'clock game that I think I haven't watched.
I've got some stuff around here too. So, but it was good to do this again. I hope we can keep it up.
Yes, I plan on it. Thank you guys both for joining me. Have a good day.
All right, take care. I'll catch you later.
Take care. Bye.